Someone left him to die in a rusted crate under 104 heat with no food, no water, just a filthy plush lion tucked under his paw. I found him behind the abandoned circus warehouse on the edge of Houston, Texas. Midday sun lit up the pavement like a skillet. The crate was half hidden behind an old trailer, surrounded by trash and broken props. But inside, still silent and unmoving, sat a 5-month-old German shepherd puppy. Sable-colored fur clung to his thin frame, his ribs barely hidden beneath the dirt. And in his paws, gripped tight like a treasure, was a plush lion missing one eye. He didn't bark, didn't cry, didn't even blink, just stared at me like I was interrupting something sacred. I used to train show animals years ago, mostly dogs, but once, just once, I worked near a lion. Not in a cage, in a tent. The lion didn't roar. He watched. I never forgot those eyes. And now somehow this puppy had the same look. Not begging, not afraid, just done. The crate door had been twisted open, bent at the latch. He could have crawled out, but he didn't. He was guarding that lion like it was family. I knelt beside him. "Hey, little guy." My voice cracked in the heat. He didn't flinch, just adjusted one paw over the plush toy like he was making sure it stayed safe. No tag, no collar, no bowl, no hope. I wanted to call someone, a rescue, the shelter, but I knew better. This part of the city, dogs like him don't get second chances. The shelters are overrun, strays vanish overnight, and besides, something in his eyes told me he didn't need a system. He needed someone who understood what it meant to lose everything. So I sat slowly, like I was being watched by something ancient. I reached toward the toy, not him, and said the first name that came to mind, Simba. He blinked. "You hear that? That's you now." Still no bark, but lowered his head and rested his chin on the lion's mane. That was his answer. I carried the crate to my truck, lion and all. He didn't resist, didn't react. But I swear when I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw the tiniest shimmer in his eyes. Like maybe he wasn't done yet. This little guy's journey from abandonment to rehabilitation shows how important nonprofit rescue groups really are. Caring for a rescued puppy is more than love. It's responsibility. It's pet care. That night he slept in my hallway, curled around that broken lion like a soldier on duty. And I watched him from the doorway, wondering, was he guarding the toy or guarding the memory of the life he thought was over? In the morning, the plush lion was still beneath his paw, its fabric darker now from dirt and dried sweat. The German shepherd puppy hadn't moved an inch. His eyes were open, glassy, staring at nothing, like sleep was a luxury he hadn't earned. I made eggs, left a bowl near him. He didn't touch it. Not the food, not the water, just stayed curled around that toy like it was his job to protect it. Or maybe like it was the only thing left in the world that hadn't betrayed him. I sat on the floor a few feet away, sipping coffee and watching him. "Simba," I said softly, "you can eat. You know, nobody's gonna take it. Nothing." I tried tossing a small piece of scrambled egg near his front paw. His nose twitched, but he didn't move. That's when I saw it. The tiniest scar along the edge of his ear. A clean slice, old but distinct. Someone had kept him confined before. Maybe tied, maybe worse. I'd seen that kind of mark on working dogs. Dogs who'd been discarded after they weren't useful anymore. My stomach turned. I looked at the lion in his paws. It wasn't just a toy. It was a stand-in for someone he lost, or someone who left him behind. I got up, walked to the old closet, and pulled out a small dog bed I'd kept from before. I didn't know why I hadn't thrown it out. Maybe because the thought of doing so felt like giving up. My last dog, Sasha, had passed almost 2 years ago. Cancer. One day, she was running beside me. The next, I was standing in a vet's office alone. I placed the bed near him, soft side facing up. No sudden moves, no pressure, just the invitation. "Here, this was hers," I said quietly. "She would have liked you." Still nothing, but then just a flicker. Simba glanced at the bed, then at me, and then slowly, silently, he dragged his lion over to it, one paw at a time. His body trembled from weakness, but he made the trip. When he laid down curled in the same exact shape Sasha used to, I had to turn away. The kind of grief that never left. It rose in me like it was fresh. And yet somehow this German shepherd puppy, he made it feel gentler. like I wasn't alone in it anymore. I reached for the bowl and slid it closer. He watched, waited, and finally, after what felt like hours, he leaned forward and took a bite. That was it. Not a bark, not a wag, just a bite of egg and a long, slow blink, like he was telling me, I don't trust you yet, but I'm still here. Later that afternoon, I opened the back door and stepped out onto the little patch of dead grass I call a yard. Simba followed, hesitant, lion still in his mouth. And when a breeze blew through and ruffled his fur, I swear just for a moment, he looked proud, like he wasn't a puppy at all. He looked like a lion, and for the first time since I'd brought him home, I found myself wondering, what had this little guy been through? And how much strength had it taken for him to survive it? That night, I left the door to my room cracked open. I didn't expect him to come in. Honestly, I wasn't sure he even trusted the walls yet, but around 2:00 a.m., I heard it. Soft footsteps on the wood floor. Not pacing, not wandering. Just one slow, deliberate step after another. I held my breath. A second later, I saw him in the hallway light. The German Shepherd puppy stood in the doorway, the plush lion hanging from his mouth by a thread. His ears were down, tail low, but his eyes searched the room like he was asking permission to exist in it. I sat up. You okay, Simba? He didn't move. I patted the floor near the bed. Come here, boy. For a few seconds, nothing. Then, without a sound, he walked in, stepped to the far corner, and gently laid the lion down. Not beside me, just near enough like he was offering a piece of himself without letting go completely. He curled into a tight ball, nose against his toy, facing away from me, not ready to connect, but no longer hiding. I couldn't sleep after that. Just watched him, that rise and fall of his back with each breath, fragile and steady at once. It hit me how much this German Shepherd puppy had been holding inside, how much he still was. He hadn't made a sound since I found him. No bark, no whine, no growl. Silence was his language, and grief was the accent in every motion. In the morning, I found him back in the hallway, awake, guarding the lion. But something had shifted. When I brought out breakfast, he actually walked to the bowl himself. No coaxing, no encouragement, just a quiet decision. Eat, survive, stay. Later that day, I took him to the edge of the nearby field behind the stadium lot. Not a park, not much more than dry weeds and concrete, but it was open space. He hesitated at the threshold, ears forward, tail frozen. It's okay, I said. No one here but you and me. And still, he didn't move until I stepped ahead and held out the plush lion. I felt ridiculous, like a grown man offering a toy to a kid who'd seen too much. But Simba, he watched like he was measuring whether the past would follow him if he moved forward. Then one slow step, then another. He took the lion gently from my hand, turned back toward the grass, and bolted. Not far, just 10, maybe 15 feet. But it was a run, a burst for 5 seconds. He wasn't a rescue case or a broken shell of a pup. He was just a German Shepherd puppy with wind in his ears and a lion in his mouth. I laughed, first time in months, and he stopped, turned, looked at me with those same deep eyes, still silent. But this time, he wagged his tail. A small motion, a flicker, the first sign that maybe, just maybe, he didn't come here to be saved. Maybe he came to remind me how to feel alive again. We passed a toy store on the walk back that afternoon. I don't know what possessed me, but I stopped. The window display was full of stuffed animals, bright, clean, untouched. There was a new lion on the top shelf. Golden man, stitched smile, tag still dangling from its ear. Simba pressed his nose against the glass. Yours is better, I told him, though mine was patched with age and dirt. But maybe it's time he got some backup. I didn't go in. Not yet, not then. But the thought lingered. Back at the apartment, we settled into a rhythm. I worked nights, so our mornings became our time. Walks at sunrise, quiet meals, no words, no commands, just presence. That's all he seemed to want anyway. Not attention, not affection, just to be near. It was 3 days later when my neighbor knocked. Janine, she's got a son, Ellie, maybe 7 or 8. Small kid, big eyes, talks like he's whispering to God. She just adopted a rescue of her own. Yeah, a border collie that barked at everything with a pulse. Would you mind if Eli met your dog? She asked. He's afraid of ours. I thought maybe yours would be different. I hesitated. Simba hadn't barked once, hadn't growled, hadn't even chased a squirrel. But children were unpredictable, and so was trauma. Still, I nodded. Eli was holding a small plastic dinosaur when he stepped inside. He kept close to the wall, eyes locked on Simba like he was waiting for the worst. Simba, for his part, didn't move. He sat near the hallway entrance, lying between his paws, watching Eli with that calm, unreadable stare. The boy froze. Simba blinked once, then so slowly it was almost invisible. He nudged the lion forward. Eli didn't move, so Simba did it again. This time, the boy stepped closer, knees trembling, mouth slightly open. He crouched, reached out. Simba let him. No flinch, no tension,